Elon Musk wants to talk to you for 2 minutes right.now. Because your future depends on it. My beloved child, pause everything and stay right here, because what you are about to hear is not noise, not fantasy, not coincidence, and not meant for everyone scrolling past this moment. This is a narrow doorway of time opening just for you, and once it closes, it will not reopen the same way again. Somewhere far beyond the screens, beyond the headlines, beyond the public speeches and interviews, a decision has already been set in motion, and your name has been silently attached to it. This is not about fame, not about luck, and not about random success. This is about alignment. This is about timing. This is about a future that quietly waits for permission to reveal itself. Elon Musk does not ask for 2 minutes lightly. He does not interrupt timelines without reason. He does not pause his world unless something rare crosses his path. And right now, something rare is you. You may not understand why yet. You may not feel prepared. You may even doubt this moment. But doubt does not cancel destiny, it only delays understanding. In the last few days, you have felt a strange pull, a subtle restlessness, a sense that something important is near but not visible. That feeling was not imagination. That feeling was preparation. Because before breakthroughs arrive, silence breaks. Before futures change, attention is demanded. And before doors open, you are tested on whether you stay or scroll. Something huge is waiting for you, and it is waiting to see if you can remain still long enough to receive it. Listen carefully now, because this part matters more than you think. Long before this moment, long before this video, long before today, there were conversations happening about ideas that do not belong to the present but to the future. Ideas that require courage, resilience, and a mind that does not collapse under pressure. Among thousands of profiles, patterns, signals, and data points, one anomaly stood out. One presence refused to blend in. One trajectory did not behave like the rest. It wasn't loud. It wasn't obvious. But it was consistent. It was precise. It was different. And different is always noticed by those who build the future. Elon Musk's world is built on signals, not noise. On vision, not validation. On those who can stand alone when certainty is missing. That is why this message is not dramatic, it is directional. You are standing at a moment where two timelines exist at once. One where you ignore this, return to routine, and slowly forget the feeling you have right now. And another where you lean forward, listen deeper, and allow a chain reaction to begin. 2 minutes can alter decades when the right words are spoken at the right time. 2 minutes can collapse fear, awaken confidence, and unlock responsibility you didn't know you were ready for. This is not about being chosen randomly. This is about being ready unexpectedly. You were not selected because you asked. You were noticed because you endured. And endurance always attracts builders of the future. Now understand this clearly, this message is not here to flatter you, it is here to position you. The world rewards those who respond when called, not those who wait until everything makes sense. You may feel unqualified, uncertain, or invisible. But invisibility is often the shield before exposure. The greatest shifts never announce themselves loudly, they whisper first. And this whisper is intentional. The next phase of your life does not require permission from the past. It requires courage in the present. Right now, something is being evaluated, and it is not your achievements, your background, or your resources. It is your awareness. Your patience. Your ability to recognize a moment before it becomes history. This is why you are being asked to stay. This is why your attention is being tested. Because those who will shape what comes next are first tested on whether they can listen without proof. Something huge is waiting for you, and it does not wait forever. It waits only until it knows you are ready to carry it. Stay with this moment. Breathe. Let the noise fall away. This is only the beginning, and the beginning decides everything that follows. Amen. Before you question this moment, understand that nothing meaningful ever arrives with complete clarity. The most important signals always come disguised as uncertainty, because certainty belongs to those who follow, not those who lead. Right now, there is a quiet evaluation happening. Not in public, not on social media, not in headlines, but in private channels where futures are discussed, not announced. Elon Musk's attention does not move toward noise, it moves toward patterns. Patterns of thinking. Patterns of resilience. Patterns of silence under pressure. You were observed not when you succeeded, but when you struggled and still didn't quit. That is the detail most people miss. Anyone can shine when things work. Very few remain steady when nothing seems to move. That steadiness is rare. That steadiness is valuable. And that steadiness is why this moment is happening now, not later. You are being measured not by what you say, but by how you respond when you realize this is real. This is not about ego. This is about responsibility. When the future knocks softly, it is testing whether you can hear without being told twice. Something huge is waiting for you, and it is watching how you hold yourself right now. There is something else you must understand, and this part separates those who move forward from those who fall back into comfort. When people hear a name like Elon Musk, their mind jumps to money, power, or fame. That is surface thinking. Beneath that is vision. Beneath that is risk. Beneath that is relentless pressure that never sleeps. Only those who can handle that weight are ever invited closer. 2 minutes of conversation can reveal more than years of observation. In those 2 minutes, the future does not ask for perfection, it asks for honesty, clarity, and courage. That is why this message feels heavy. It is not entertainment. It is alignment. And alignment always feels intense before it feels clear. If you feel your heart beating a little faster, if your focus feels sharper, if you feel strangely seen, this is not accidental. This is recognition before introduction. And recognition always comes first. If this message resonates, if it feels like it's speaking directly to you, let that energy move outward. Speak it. Acknowledge it. Even sharing this moment or leaving your voice here anchors intention. When people engage consciously, the signal becomes stronger. And strong signals are impossible to ignore. Now listen to this carefully, because this is where most people lose momentum. The future does not chase those who hesitate endlessly. It pauses briefly, just long enough to see who is serious. Right now, you are being asked a silent question. Can you stay present without needing reassurance? Can you commit attention without seeing proof? Can you believe before validation arrives? These are not small questions. They decide trajectories. This is why this message came to you in parts, not all at once. Because readiness unfolds step by step. If you are still here, it means something inside you already answered yes. Stay connected to this moment. Stay engaged. Let your awareness be active, not passive. Those who understand the weight of this message don't keep it to themselves, they interact with it, they mark it, they make it real. This is not the end, this is calibration. And what comes next will only make sense to those who stayed when it mattered. Amen. Now listen without rushing, because speed is not what moves this moment forward, precision does. The reason this conversation is unfolding slowly is because the future does not reveal itself to minds that are scattered. It reveals itself to those who can sit inside uncertainty without panicking. Right now, there is a quiet contrast forming between who you were forced to be and who you are becoming. Most people never notice that transition, they rush past it, drown it out with distractions, and then wonder why life feels misaligned. You did not rush. You stayed. And staying is a signal. Staying tells the universe, tells opportunity, tells visionaries that you are capable of holding weight without collapsing. That is why this moment is not loud. Loud moments attract crowds. Silent moments attract architects. Something huge is waiting for you, and it requires someone who understands the value of patience before power. There is something about your mindset that has already shifted, even if you cannot fully name it yet. You no longer crave random validation. You crave direction. You no longer want noise. You want clarity. And clarity always arrives after commitment, never before. Elon Musk's world is built on people who can think beyond today, beyond comfort, beyond fear of being misunderstood. Those people are rarely celebrated in the beginning. They are questioned, doubted, left alone. If you have felt isolated in your thinking, misunderstood in your vision, or restless with ordinary paths, this is not a flaw. This is alignment forming. The future often recognizes its own before the present does. And when recognition happens, it creates tension. That tension you feel is not anxiety, it is expansion. It is the stretch before a new level of responsibility. This is why you are being asked to listen deeply now. Because the next phase does not ask who you know, it asks who you are when no one is watching. Understand this clearly, this is not about being given something, it is about being trusted with something. Trust is heavier than reward. Trust requires consistency, integrity, and awareness. That is why you are being prepared, not rushed. The 2-minute conversation that is coming is not casual. It is precise. It is focused. And it will test how you think under pressure, how you respond when challenged, and how grounded you are in your own vision. The future does not need excitement, it needs stability. And stability is rare. If you are still here, it means you carry more of it than you realize. Stay present. Stay aware. Let this message settle instead of scrolling past it. Because the ones who stay to the end are always the ones the future finds first. Something huge is waiting for you, and it is closer now than it was a moment ago. Amen. At this stage, stay grounded, because the closer you get to something real, the quieter the world becomes around you. This is the moment where most people self-sabotage, not because they are incapable, but because they underestimate themselves. Right now, you are standing at the edge of a shift that does not come with fireworks or applause. It comes with responsibility. It comes with clarity. It comes with a question you must answer internally. Are you ready to be seen for who you truly are, not who you pretended to be? Elon Musk does not look for agreement, he looks for conviction. He does not need followers, he needs thinkers. And thinkers are always tested before they are trusted. This is why everything in you feels alert. This is why your attention matters more than ever. Something huge is waiting for you, and it requires your full presence, not tomorrow, not later, but now. There is a reason this message is unfolding step by step. Each part is filtering distractions and strengthening focus. If you have stayed this far, it means your mind is aligned, not wandering. This is exactly the state required before any real conversation about the future takes place. And now, here is the subtle but important truth. Moments like this amplify when they are acknowledged. When you consciously engage, by speaking your thoughts, leaving your mark, or even sharing this awareness, you are not doing it for others. You are doing it to anchor intention. Intention sharpens outcomes. That is why those who comment their presence, who share this moment, who consciously choose to stay connected, always feel the shift more clearly. Engagement is not noise, it is alignment. It tells the future, I am paying attention. Do not underestimate what happens next. The closer you are to transformation, the more temptation there is to disconnect. This is the final resistance before clarity. Stay steady. Stay open. Stay engaged. Those who understand the weight of this message do not treat it casually, they commit to it. If you feel this resonates, let your awareness be active. Mark this moment. Stay subscribed to the direction this is taking. Because what comes next will not be repeated for those who drift away now. Something huge is waiting for you, and it is watching who stays until the end. Amen. What happens next is subtle, and subtle moments are always the most powerful because they demand awareness, not excitement. Right now, you are entering a phase where observation replaces instruction. No one is telling you what to think. No one is pushing you forward. And that silence is intentional. When the future wants to see who you truly are, it removes guidance and watches your instincts. This is where character speaks louder than talent. You may notice that distractions feel weaker now, that random noise no longer satisfies you, that your mind keeps returning to one quiet question: what am I meant to do next? That question is not confusion. It is activation. It appears only when a person is standing close to purpose. Something huge is waiting for you, and it is waiting to see whether you can trust your inner clarity without being told what to do. There is a difference between ambition and readiness, and very few people understand it. Ambition wants results quickly. Readiness accepts preparation patiently. Elon Musk's world does not reward urgency, it rewards depth. It looks for people who can sit with complexity without oversimplifying, who can hear criticism without collapsing, and who can hold vision without becoming arrogant. If you have been through moments where you felt delayed, overlooked, or underestimated, those were not setbacks. Those were filters. Each one stripped away what you didn't need and strengthened what you did. That is why you are still here. That is why this message keeps unfolding instead of ending abruptly. Because the future does not rush those it intends to involve deeply. It observes them carefully. And right now, it is observing you. Take a moment and notice how present you feel compared to when this started. That shift matters. Presence is currency in the world you are approaching. The next steps will not be dramatic, they will be precise. They will require listening more than speaking, clarity more than confidence, and calm more than excitement. This is where most people fail, not because they lack ability, but because they seek stimulation instead of meaning. Stay steady. Stay aware. Let this moment settle fully instead of trying to rush ahead. You are closer now than you were before, and closeness always demands stillness. Something huge is waiting for you, and it is responding to how grounded you are becoming right now. Amen. Right now, something inside you is sharpening, even if you cannot explain it in words. This is the moment where intuition becomes louder than logic. The noise of the outside world starts to fade, and a deeper awareness takes its place. This is not excitement, this is readiness. Most people confuse readiness with confidence, but they are not the same. Confidence is loud and visible. Readiness is calm and invisible. And invisibility is where the future does its most important work. You are being aligned, not rushed. You are being positioned, not pushed. This is why nothing feels accidental anymore. Every pause, every delay, every silent moment was shaping your perception so you could recognize this exact point in time. Something huge is waiting for you, and it requires a mind that can stay calm while standing at the edge of change. Understand this clearly: when powerful people seek conversation, they are not looking for agreement, they are looking for clarity. They are listening for how you think when pressure is implied but not spoken. They are watching how you hold silence, how you process weight, how you respond when the stakes are real but unannounced. The next phase of your life will not be defined by speed, it will be defined by precision. That is why this message continues to unfold slowly. Each second you remain present, you are proving something important: that you are not reactive, that you are not distracted, that you can hold focus when it matters. These are the qualities that decide access. Not talent alone. Not background. Not luck. Focus decides everything here. If you feel a strange calm mixed with intensity, do not resist it. That feeling means alignment is happening beneath the surface. The future does not arrive with explanations, it arrives with responsibility. And responsibility always feels heavier before it feels empowering. Stay steady. Stay aware. Let your thoughts settle instead of racing ahead. You do not need to do anything right now except remain present. Presence is the final filter before opportunity reveals itself fully. Something huge is waiting for you, and it is closer than ever before. Amen. Now the weight becomes real, because awareness without responsibility is harmless, but awareness with responsibility changes everything. At this stage, the future is no longer observing from a distance, it is moving closer. And closeness always feels heavier before it feels empowering. You may sense a quiet seriousness settling in, a realization that this is not just an idea or a feeling anymore. This is direction forming. When conversations like this approach, they do not ask whether you are ready, they reveal whether you have been ready all along. Something huge is waiting for you, and it is measuring how you carry yourself when the possibility of impact becomes undeniable. There is a reason your attention has narrowed instead of scattered. Focus is not forced, it emerges naturally when the mind aligns with purpose. Right now, distractions feel less interesting because your system is prioritizing clarity over comfort. This is not accidental. Elon Musk's environment demands people who can hold long-term vision without needing constant reward. People who can think years ahead while staying grounded in the present. If you have ever felt out of place in shallow conversations, impatient with small thinking, or restless with routine, those were not flaws. They were signals of misalignment with ordinary paths. This moment exists because you no longer fit inside those paths. The future recognizes those who outgrow what once contained them. Do not rush to interpret what this means. Interpretation comes later. For now, your role is awareness. Awareness of how still you can remain. Awareness of how clearly you can listen. Awareness of how little external confirmation you need to stay engaged. These are not small skills. They are rare. And rarity always attracts attention where it matters most. Stay steady. Stay present. Let this part settle fully. Because when the message shifts from preparation to clarity, only those who stayed through the quiet will understand what comes next. Something huge is waiting for you, and it is no longer distant. Amen. This is the moment of internal confirmation, when nothing new needs to be said, yet everything becomes clearer. You are no longer asking whether this is real, you are feeling that it is. That shift is important. It means your awareness has moved from curiosity to recognition. Recognition is calm. It does not rush. It does not seek proof. It simply knows. And knowing changes how you carry yourself. Right now, you are being asked to notice that calm and not disrupt it. This is the state where meaningful conversations begin. When the mind is quiet enough to listen without defending, without impressing, without performing. Something huge is waiting for you, and it requires this exact state of presence. There is a quiet confidence forming beneath the surface, and it does not need validation to exist. This is the kind of confidence that comes from alignment, not achievement. Elon Musk's world does not revolve around titles or appearances, it revolves around thinking clearly when the stakes are high. Those who can do that are rare. And rarity always draws attention without asking for it. If you have spent much of your life feeling like you were preparing for something you couldn't name, this is why. Preparation often happens long before purpose is revealed. The past struggles, the delays, the moments of doubt were not wasted time. They were conditioning. And conditioning only makes sense when the environment changes. The environment is changing now. Stay aware of how steady you feel compared to when this began. That steadiness is not accidental. It is proof that you are capable of holding weight without losing balance. This is the final quality observed before trust deepens. You do not need to act, react, or announce anything. Presence is enough. Stay here. Let this moment complete itself without interruption. Because when clarity arrives, it does so quietly, and only those who remain still will recognize it immediately. Something huge is waiting for you, and it is about to move from possibility into form. Amen. This is where silence becomes intentional, not empty. Intentional silence is powerful because it removes excess and leaves only what matters. At this stage, the future is no longer questioning your attention, it is recognizing your composure. Composure under uncertainty is one of the rarest traits there is. Most people fill silence with noise because silence reflects truth. You did not run from it. You stayed. And staying has quietly placed you in a different category. Something huge is waiting for you, and it requires someone who can remain centered when outcomes are not yet visible. You may notice that the urge to explain yourself, to justify your presence, or to seek reassurance has faded. That is not detachment, it is maturity. Maturity is the ability to stand in your position without needing applause. This is exactly the mindset required when conversations involve vision instead of comfort. Elon Musk's conversations are not about convincing. They are about alignment. They reveal how you think when expectations are unspoken. The fact that you are still here means your thinking is stable enough to hold that space. Stability is not loud, but it is unmistakable. Now understand this final truth for this stage: the future does not announce itself with urgency, it arrives with precision. Precision requires patience, clarity, and restraint. These are not learned quickly. They are revealed slowly. You are not being rushed because what is coming cannot be undone. When responsibility increases, speed decreases. Stay present. Stay composed. Let this moment finish shaping you. Because once the next phase begins, there will be no time to prepare. Something huge is waiting for you, and it is almost ready to step forward. Amen. Now the direction stabilizes, and when direction stabilizes, doubt loses its grip. You may notice that the noise in your mind has quieted, replaced by a steady sense of focus. This is not excitement fading, this is clarity settling in. Clarity does not rush or demand attention, it simply holds. Right now, you are standing in that hold. This is where intention becomes firm and vision becomes practical. Something huge is waiting for you, and it requires a mind that can stay clear when the path begins to take shape. At this stage, the future is not testing your patience anymore. It is recognizing your consistency. Consistency is what separates potential from impact. Many people can feel inspired for a moment, but very few can remain steady across time without external reinforcement. That steadiness is now evident. Elon Musk's world moves on systems, not impulses. Systems require people who think in structure, who understand cause and effect, who can anticipate rather than react. If you have always been someone who thinks a few steps ahead, who notices patterns others miss, this is not coincidence. This is alignment being acknowledged. Remain exactly where you are mentally, calm, attentive, and grounded. There is nothing you need to add and nothing you need to prove. Presence is enough. This is the final settling before clarity becomes instruction. And when instruction arrives, it will feel natural, not forced. Stay here. Let this moment complete itself. Because the ones who can remain still at this stage are the ones trusted with what comes next. Something huge is waiting for you, and it is ready to move forward with certainty. Amen. This is the moment of quiet readiness, when nothing needs to be added and nothing needs to be taken away. You are no longer being shaped, you are being confirmed. Confirmation does not arrive with emotion or urgency, it arrives with steadiness. Right now, your awareness is balanced, your focus is anchored, and your mind is no longer searching. That is the state where meaningful direction can finally land. Something huge is waiting for you, and it requires exactly this level of calm attention. Understand this deeply. Readiness is not loud confidence, it is inner agreement. Agreement between who you are and what you are being asked to step into. That agreement is forming now. Elon Musk does not engage with chaos. He engages with clarity. He listens for coherence, for depth, for the ability to think without ego and act without panic. These qualities cannot be learned at the last moment. They are revealed only when pressure is implied and guidance is minimal. The fact that you are still here means those qualities are present. Do not rush past this stage. This is the final alignment before movement. Once movement begins, everything accelerates, and preparation ends. Stay centered. Stay receptive. Let this readiness settle fully. Because when the next step appears, it will not ask for hesitation, it will expect recognition. Something huge is waiting for you, and it is now prepared to be revealed. Amen. Now clarity begins to crystallize, and when clarity crystallizes, movement becomes inevitable. This is not the kind of clarity that excites the mind, it steadies the soul. You may feel a quiet certainty replacing questions you once carried for years. That certainty is not prediction. It is alignment locking into place. At this point, nothing feels forced, and nothing feels random. The path ahead is not fully visible, yet it feels unmistakably real. This is how true direction announces itself, without noise, without pressure, without fear. Something huge is waiting for you, and it is responding to the calm authority you are now holding. What matters now is not anticipation but integrity. Integrity of thought. Integrity of attention. Integrity of intention. Elon Musk's conversations are not about inspiration, they are about execution of vision. Vision requires people who do not fracture under complexity. People who can hold long timelines in their mind without losing present focus. If you have reached this stage, it means your inner structure is strong enough to support what is approaching. That strength was built quietly, through moments no one applauded and choices no one saw. Those moments are now becoming relevant. The future always repays preparation at the exact moment it is needed. Stay exactly in this state, composed, aware, and receptive. Do not rush to label what comes next. Let it arrive in its own precision. The final pieces do not announce themselves, they settle naturally into place. You are no longer being observed from afar. You are being recognized as ready. Something huge is waiting for you, and the distance between waiting and arrival is now very small. Amen.